Hi and welcome to another tutorial from the Golden Ribbon. Today we're in Inkscape 1.01 and we're looking at the paper roll or the scroll roll Inkscape tutorial. So let's get straight into it. Now this tutorial is going to be fairly simple. It's not going to go through much. Very quick tutorial. So it'll be good for beginners as well, you know, who just want, or persons who don't hold fast to long videos. And this will be in preparation for the animation paper roll for Blender mostly. So but it's still an icon that you see a lot, and it's good to have it here so that you can know what to do. So we're just going to go ahead and select the rectangle tool. You can press R to activate it, and then we're just going to pull over with our mouse with our left click, just holding down and pulling, and just going to round up these corners a bit. Got my colors to the right hand side also so that you can see them. Cool. And then I'm just going to use the dropper tool and select one of these colors right here. Cool. I think this is the right color I use. Is it the darker one? Yes, the darker one. Cool. So have it right here, and let's pull this up. And the opacity is sort of low, so I'm going to just increase the opacity of this. So I'm just going to click this fill down here, and the fill and stroke button will come up, and I'm just going to increase the opacity. Then I can X out. Cool. Let's big this up a bit more. Cool. And now that we have this, we're just going to duplicate it with Control and D, and just going to hold Control and drag it across. Let's put in a different color so that we can see it. Let's try the green for now. Cool. And we're just going to basically carry this across so that it's going to cut this shape. We can even see the shape for the most part over here. But what I'm going to do also, I'm just going to hold this square node right now, hold Control and pull down so that the circle doesn't cut at this lower edge here. Cool. And let's just round this up. No, actually just leave it as is. And I'm going to select both of them with Shift, go to Path and Difference. Cool. And we see that we have our shape here. The only thing that we have left to do now is simply just to get rid of this bottom half. So I'm just going to press B on the keyboard to activate the Bezier tool. Click, hold Control, and we're just going to drag across this Bezier right here. I'm going to double click the Bezier line that we just created, and we're going to select, just click it once and then select the paper roll with Shift so that you select both of them. Then go to Path, and you can go to Division and delete the bottom half. And that makes for the basis of our paper roll. Have it right here. And we're basically going to use this paper roll to do everything else. So we're going to duplicate it with Control and D, bring it down, and we're going to flip it. So we're going to flip selected objects vertically. You can also press V, and we're going to flip it horizontally. Cool. Let's drag this down a bit. And that makes the other end. And if you're afraid that these two don't line up together, you can always go to Object, Align and Distribute. And so with both of them selected, just say Center on Vertical Axis. Can't center on vertical axis, sorry. If that's the case, then you can always use the snap tools. And make sure you have snap cost nodes on and snap nodes, paths and handles. And it will snap together for you. Then it's just a case of unifying them if you wish to unify them, but we're not going to unify them just yet. Next, for the next part, we're going to just duplicate this part here and flip, and we're going to make this yellow so we can see what's actually happening here, and put this underneath. Okay, let me just see which way it's flipped again because I can't remember. Okay then. So you want to flip it so that it's the opposite. So you're just going to duplicate it and flip it on the horizontal. And flip it on the vertical, sorry. So you want to flip this vertically V, and that will put it on the right axis, and the snap tool will help you to snap this in place. Then you can go ahead and drag this down to whatever length you desire, and we're going to duplicate it one more time with Control and D, and we're just going to flip it on the vertical. Where's the vertical? Let me just go past. I typically forget this part. Right, you're going to flip it on the vertical and horizontal so that it looks like this. Yeah, so if you flip it and it's not looking like this, just keep flipping it until you get the correct flip. I don't quite remember the order of flips. Let me see if I can go again and just duplicate it. So I think it's one vertical, one horizontal. No, it's not that. It must be just one vertical. Yeah, so one, just flip it once on the horizontal, and that will give you the correct shape, and you can use the snap tool to snap it into place, and you've basically got your paper roll right here. And then lastly, we're just gonna go ahead and activate our rectangle tool and draw some lines for the text. We can turn off our snap tool with Shift and 5. I'm gonna select this green down here. Let's make the top one the smaller one, and let's bring these down freehand. Cool. And then we can go to align and distribute and just make sure they are evenly distributed in between each other. Right, and that makes our paper roll tutorial ready for importation into Blender to be animated. So I know it's not as straightforward. This one wasn't quite as as linear as my other tutorials. It's sort of more on the fly, but if you enjoyed this tutorial, you can give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, be free to ask. You know, I'll answer them as best as I can, and to the best of my knowledge. And feel free to leave any advice as how this tutorial could have been done better if you have suggestions. I appreciate that. So until I see you again with another tutorial, get up and design a new door. Later.